Hi everyone. So I'm here starting you off on exercises 6 and 7. Exercises 6 and 7 ask you to find constituents of phrases using either the substitution test or the movement test. So exercise 6 asks you to use the substitution test. Exercise 7 asks you to use the movement test. We're not going to practice the coordination test right now. So remember that constituents are groups of words that make phrases. Those constituents are things or clusters of words that can either be substituted with something else or moved around, but they give you a little bit of information in relation to other parts of the sentences. So really, we're just trying to find what words go together and are groups. Let's take a look at the examples. So this is A from 6 and A from 7. The first one is from 6. The news upset the entire family. So it wants us to test the news, and it wants us to use substitution. That means that we can put something else in its place, a pronoun or the do or do so verb if it's a verb. But we can tell that the news is a noun, right, because it's news. So we're going to use some sort of pronoun or some other noun that goes in its place. So the first thing that I can think of is it, right? It upset the entire family. This is an easy one. I'd say it passes this test. And if I were a student and I were writing up this exercise, I would say the news is a constituent. I can use a pronoun to substitute. And that's my argument for saying that, yes, it is a constituent. It's a noun phrase. The second one is asking me to use the movement test. The whole sentence is, we ate our lunch near the riverbank. It wants us to test near the riverbank. I can tell right away that if I were to use the substitution test, I could put in there. We ate our lunch there. But what it wants me to test this time is movement. So can I move this part of the sentence to a different part of the sentence? And remember, there are a couple ways of doing that. So number one, we could just try to move it and see if it works out. So could I say, near the riverbank, we ate our lunch? Yeah, I could do that pretty easily. I'm not going to try to move it in between any of these words because I'm not trying to test these groups of words here, right? If I were to break them up, I would be testing more than one thing. So since I just want to test this one group of words here, I'm not going to also test another group of words. That's why I put it in front. Remember, in the movement test, you can also do it clefting. So you can say, it was near the riverbank that we ate our lunch. So it seems to pass the movement test. If I were a student and I was writing out an argument for this, then I would say, near the riverbank is a constituent. It can be moved, and the sentence remains grammatical. And that's it. So these are pretty simple examples, but they show you how the tests are done, and they show you how easy it is then to make an argument calling the phrases constituents. Of course, it gets more complicated if you're looking for patterns in a language that you don't know, or if the sentence is much more complex. Right? So later on in the PowerPoint presentation, you'll see an example of that. Thanks, guys.